Good morning, students. So, today this is your doubt clarification video 2. The doubt which you have asked me regarding to chapter 1 and 2. So, before we move to the video, first let me tell you one thing, that now our school app is working very properly. So, whatever doubts you are having regarding to your video and your chapter 3 and 4, you can ask me directly there in the chat box. In this video also I'm trying to cover all the topics, but if any question is left or someone is not satisfied with their doubt clarification, so they can ask me question right there. I'll reply it as soon as possible whenever I see the message. So from now onwards, you can ask me doubt directly on the school app, and that homework and school note will also be uploaded there. Class notes will also be uploaded there in the school app. So just check it once whenever your video will be uploaded. So let's get started with today's doubt clarification session. Discovery of neutrons, electrons and protons. We first have to be clear with the atomic structure. As we know that atoms are composed, or firstly we have learned about atoms, that atoms are tiny particles. Atoms made molecule, but if atoms are tiny particles, they are also composed of some things, and this composition and this theory of that, or how atoms are composed, is given by Maharshi Kannada. Then Dalton has given a theory regarding to this composition of atom. So he discovered that atoms are also made up of subatomic particles like electron, proton and neutron, where electron are negatively charged, proton are positively charged and neutrons are chargeless. So these three subatomic particles are there, which made up a atom, which made up an atom. So if these three subatomic particles are there, so then scientists run behind the discovery of these three subatomic particles, that how they are formed, how they are discovered, and what are these subatomic particles. So for having the curiosity of these three subatomic particles, scientists started experimenting that how atoms are formed. So in this, the first discovery was done by J.J. Thomson in 1879, that is discovery of electrons. So in this, what he has done, he has performed an experiment. He has performed an experiment that is called as cathode ray tube experiment, or J.J. Thomson's cathode ray experiment, in which he has used a special tube. You can see here in the diagram, a special tube is there, in which he has used two electrodes at the end. One is cathode and second is anode. Electrodes are the metallic plates which are used to transfer current from one terminal to another. So here cathode is negatively charged plate and anode is positively charged plate. So Thomson used a special tube which is called discharge tube for this experiment. And this discharge tube, as you can see in the diagram, it is a hard cylindrical glass tube, and that consists two metal plates called electrodes, each sealed at two ends of the tube. You can see here cathode and anode, these are sealed at the two ends of the tube. These metals are connected to the two terminals of high voltage battery. Here is the high voltage battery, and these two slits are connected to this battery, terminals of this battery. The metal plate that is connected to the negative terminal act as a cathode. So here this one, cathode, is connected to the negative terminal, and this anode is connected to the positive terminal. As we know that opposite attract. So the one which is connected with the negative terminal act as cathode, and the metal plate that is connected to the positive terminal act as anode. A vacuum pump is connected to one side of the tube to lower the pressure inside the tube. You can see here the vacuum pump, this one. Okay, so here this is also connected to lower the pressure inside the tube, because this experiment has to be performed in a very low gas pressure. So what Thomson has done in this experiment, Thomson passed very high voltage electricity, that is up to 10,000 volt, through the discharge tube at a very low pressure. As I told you that a vacuum pump is there to lower the pressure. The principle behind this experiment was that gases act as poor conductor of electricity under the normal condition, but at a very high voltage and under low pressure conditions, they become good conductor of electricity. That's why we need to put pressure very low here. So what he has observed, that a continuous system of rays was emitted from the cathode, and he called these rays as cathode rays. So here you can see this continuous emission of a ray is there, this one. So this is called as cathode ray. A fluorescent green glow was observed at the other end of the tube. At the other end of the tube, what he has observed, a fluorescent green glow, and the cathode rays were found to be moving from the cathode region to the anode region. This proved that this rays consisted of negatively charged particles, because it is moving from negative to positive. Okay, so this is all about the Thomson's experiment of cathode ray. Now in this he observed that cathode rays always travel in a straight line. Cathode rays have fast moving particles and they are negatively charged, and ratio of electric charge is E by M, which is constant. So from here he discovered some of the characteristics of electron. The first definition of electron which he has given is, an electron is defined as a subatomic fundamental particle having mass equal to 1 upon 1837 of that of hydrogen atom and carrying 1 unit of negative charge. And the charge of the individual electron, that is the one electron, is minus 1.0602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, which is very less. Electrons have particle nature and travel in a straight line. An electron deflect over the positive field away from the negative field. This is about the characteristics of electrons, which was given on the basis of that cathode ray experiment. Now next, if negative charges are there, positive charges will also be there. Then with the discovery that atoms of consist negatively charged particle called electrons, scientists were of the opinion that atom must also contain some positively charged particles to neutralize this negative charge of electron, as we know that all the atoms are electrically neutral in nature. So in 1886, the German scientist Eugen Goldstein discovered positively charged particles known as protons. So in this experiment, what he has done, that he is also having the discharge tube like the Thomson's experiment, but with the at the place of cathode, here he has used a perforated cathode, which is a cathode with holes or a pierced disc. You can see here in the diagram this one blue ring which is having holes in it, that is called perforated cathode disc. So in cathode ray experiment of Thomson has used two rods only, electrode and cathode and anode, but here in this Goldstein has used one anode and one perforated cathode, which is a cathode with holes. And by using this perforated cathode which is containing small holes, he set up his experiment. And again, when high voltage electricity, same as it is passed in that cathode ray experiment of J.J. Thomson, again when this electricity will be passed across the terminals at a very low pressure of mercury, what Goldstein has observed, he has observed that a continuous stream of faint red glowing rays was emitted from the holes in the area at the back of the cathode. From here, you can see from here it will directly emitted at the back of the cathode. These rays were found to be moving in a direction opposite to that of the cathode rays. As you can see here, see this one is the direction of the cathode rays, this blue rays, and this rays of red rays will move towards the opposite in the direction of the cathode rays. Okay, so the gas molecules which are traveling, like positive canal rays will travel from cathode towards the anode, but this rays will be travel from cathode to anode, that will be opposite of the direction of the cathode rays. So Goldstine named these rays as canal rays or Shannon rays, as they were produced through the holes in the cathode. As these rays were emitted from the anode and were composed of positively charged particles, these rays were also referred to as positive rays or anode rays. Now again, the same characteristics of anode rays has been found, that anode rays also travel in straight line. Anode rays also consist of fast moving particles. Anode rays are positively charged and ratio of electric charge is also E by M. Then from here, by discovering this anode rays, the again with the discovery of this anode rays, characteristics of proton has been given, that it has the mass of 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, and all the mass of the atom is concentrated in its nucleus where these protons are situated. Next doubt is Thomson's model of an atom. So it is very simple, nothing is there to explain in it. Thomson's model of an atom is the atomic model which is given by Thomson, in which he has explained about the arrangement of electrons and protons in an atom. So there he has explained it in the way of a pudding, like on which there are plums spread on the pudding. Like the same way, the electrons and protons are spread on the spherical positive cloud of the atom. So where he has considered an atom as the uniform positive charge into which negatively charged electrons are embedded like the plum on the pudding, and the negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude. An atom a whole is electrically neutral, and the mass of the electron atom is considered to be evenly spread over the atom. But this Thomson plum pudding model was later has been found not usable, because it is having so many drawbacks, and that's why this spherical Thomson's model of an atom is then modified, and some other experiments are performed, and other discoveries have been done. So this is all about today's doubts. Now till then, just use this video to clarify your doubts. Listen it properly 2-3 times. I know it is quite difficult to understand it in this online session, but hardly we have to do this only, no option is there. But soon the schools will be open, and I'll explain it one more time in the class, so no issues. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.